Hi everyone, today I will be installing the Idoing 9-inch Android 14 head unit for the 2006 4Runner. This works from the 2002 to 2009. I specifically got the JBL system because my 4Runner is a JBL system. They make it compatible with the OEM plugs. It has taken me a long time to actually find a stereo that works. They don't really make stereos or head units for the JBL sound system, so typically you have to get a wire adapter to adapt it from the stereo to the actual sound system. The great thing about the Idoing stereo is it already has that connection, so it's just plug and play with OEM. I have everything unboxed here. Obviously this is the head unit. One of the awesome things about this, and I know this is silly, it actually has a full instruction manual on how to install it. The 4 other stereos that I bought, and yes, I tried out 4 different ones before I chose the Idoing. The 4 other ones I had did not have an instruction manual. So Idoing, you guys are doing great things just by including the instruction manual alone. These are the plugs, and these ones are for the JBL system. I do not have a stock radio already. As you can see, this is a Pioneer. This, in my opinion, is not great because to update the system, you have to literally take apart the entire stereo and replace the motherboard or something along those lines. They also don't have good customer support. That's why I went with Idoing. Their customer support is amazing. I have messaged them multiple times already just to confirm the fitment with the vehicle, and they've gotten back to me within a day, if not less. So already, huge props to Idoing. You guys are doing great things. I'm excited to see this installed. So the first step for this, pull this up. Next, we're gonna unhook right here, pull it up, and then there's gonna be all these factory plugs right here. You're either going to need some pliers or just get your fingers in there. You don't really have to worry about where you're gonna plug them in again because they're all 3 different sizes. It's super easy to tell. Typically after that, I just throw this in the back. Next, we're just gonna pop this off. Just pop up on this. It's super easy. It just has some clips. There's no bolts, nothing like that. I have these Molly panels from Rago Fabrication, so it makes it a little bit easier to just pull it up like that. And then you're gonna set this aside. All right, so the next step, this needs to come undone right there. And then there's another one right underneath that. I have a little tow package right here, so it's a little hard to see, but right there, that needs to come undone as well. The tool you're gonna need is a 10mm socket with an extender. Makes it super easy to get in there without having to do much. All right, first one out, second one to go. All right, next one is out. Do not lose these bolts, that will suck. Because I have the D switch, for me it's a little bit more complicated removing all this stuff just because I have a bunch of things plugged in. You also have to pull this thing off, super easy, it just pops right off. And then you pull this entire thing off, make sure to unplug everything. So that's my center differential. Gotta unplug that. Unplug the air filter. Okay, I mean, you can really just leave it hanging like that. It's not like a big deal because we just need to get right in here. We're all good, now we can move over to the other side. Okay, next up, we're literally going to be using this 10mm the entire time, but you're going to want to extend this to a longer one because the bolts in here, and I'll show you in a second, they're a little bit far in there. So we're just going to pull this off. Literally just pops right out. Nothing tricky about that. Pull up on it. And now the annoying part is unplugging everything. Okay. There should only be 4 things that you need to unplug. Just set that to the side, don't worry about it. So now again, we need your longer extender to get in there. All right, longer extender, 10mm socket. I don't remember about the stock one. Pretty sure it's the same way to take this out though. Right here, there are 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. First one. All right, radio is now free to move. So, literally, pulls right out. And there is all of our wiring. I will preface, I bought this car used, so this wiring is not my mess. That's all I'll say. This was here when I bought it. The stereo was not, I just swapped out the stereo, but the wiring was. But it should be fairly the same. Now what you're gonna do, you'll take your plugs from this. We're gonna follow the instructions. We're gonna plug them in here. Typically, it's just this black one right in there. Make sure that that's in plugged in firm right there. Make sure that nothing else needs to be plugged in. You want your GPS typically plugged in, your radio plugged in, and a few other things. But other than that, we're just gonna swap it out and plug it in and make sure it works, and then we're good to go. Right now, we are just following the directions on this and plugging in things. So right here, this is the mic, if you can see that. So we're gonna wanna run this somewhere where it can actually pick up on us talking. Everything basically gets plugged in just following those directions. This is for wired CarPlay, so it looks like there's actually a 2 option or a single option. I'm just gonna go with the single option. I actually already have one ran. It just goes literally right there, and then it runs down through that and out the side right here. I've been considering running it over here for a little bit, but honestly, I think I'll just stick with this, just because it's easy to find. When it's all plugged in, it should look kind of like this. Radio right there. This one is plugged in there. We have the USB connector plugged in right there, and then the mic is plugged in right here. These are what's gonna plug into your OEM. Those are gonna come undone, and then we're gonna plug in these, and then we will be good to mount it up. We have to put the entire faceplate back on because these just clip in. One of the things that I like to do is before we put everything back together, I like to make sure that it works. So I have my phone plugged in right now. Beautiful loading screen. I'm just gonna test some things and make sure that everything works good. So I've tested everything out. Phone is charging, Siri is working. The CarPlay is full screen on this, which is awesome. I do have it plugged in, but there is a wireless connection as well. Everything looks great. So now we're gonna put all the faceplates back together. And this is how the plugs are gonna look. So see, there's those 2 OEM plugs right there, and then there's that one, which is not plugged into anything. That is fine. It does not need to be plugged into anything. Everything is hooked up, everything is working perfectly. Everything else is gonna get put back on, and then this will clip in and we will be all set. First step, you wanna make sure that you're running your wires. So you wanna run the mic and the USB connector, you wanna run those first. That way, once the faceplate is on, you don't have to worry about doing that later. So like I said, I like to run this down here, just pulling it up through here. We're gonna go in the back of this. And through, giving me enough room to plug it in and run it all the way down to the floor right there. And then I have my USB-C connector plugged into the bottom of that. And then the mic, make sure you're running the mic through. And another thing that I really like about Idoing, they actually label their wires, which is amazing. USB connector, mic. Those are good there. Now we're gonna take the faceplate back. We're gonna plug it in. And then we're gonna work on the other sides. Don't forget to plug these back in. Grab all your wires. Make sure that they are out of the way so this can go back in its spot and just snap it in. And then we can plug these back in again before we put together the rest. So we're gonna go back, make sure everything's tight in here. Mic is gonna go to the mic. Mic is right here, the black one. Plug that in there. USB, you're gonna plug USB right in here. Want to support these just because I don't want things pulling on the wires. The big one's gonna plug in here, right there, like that. And the medium, make sure that they're not tangled, because if your wires are tangled, that's just gonna cause issues when it's actually going in. Medium plugs in like that. Now, push all those wires in there, and then it snaps in like that. Now she's in, and we are going to work on the rest of everything. Because we didn't take apart all the wires, it's gonna be super easy to just push this back up and then snap everything into place. But we do have to mount this mic somewhere. I ended up putting the mic right there, so I literally just ran the wires up through this way and then up to the top and tucked everything in. Super discreet and concealed right there. And it picks up on the sound amazingly. There are 2 holes right there closest to the stereo you have to do before you put this up. Okay, once that one is all the way in, we are going to push this up, and then we're going to put in the rest of the bolts. So now with everything right here, we're going to put everything back together, clip that in, slide everything up, make sure everything is aligned, and then snap everything here into place. Put that back. This is going to go right there. push it in, and then we're gonna finish up that bolt right there and that one right there. This one's a little hard to line up. Okay, we finished up the bolt underneath there. Now we're gonna do this last one right here. Okay, there we go. Now we are putting this back together. Super simple. First, we're gonna do the cover, and it's gonna just slide right in. There are some clips that you wanna clip in. Make sure that they're going into the right spot, but once it actually goes into the right spot, it'll just slide in. It's a little bit harder for me just because I have the Rago Fabrication Molly panel right here, but it's just a little bit trickier just because there's bolts on the inside of this. So, you know, you just have to kind of maneuver around those. But again, super easy, and genuinely, I love having this Molly panel. It's so nice, like just putting my radio right here. Love it. Next part, we're gonna put all this back together. So like I said, it's super easy to find out which one's which. That's 3 of them, you're all good. Now you just slide it into place and press down. And then once everything clips in, close it up, and you're good to go. Fully installed. And it's gonna start right up. That was super easy to install. Instructions, incredibly easy. They did a great job. Like I said, it is OEM compatible with the JBL sound system, which is what I have. As I also mentioned, I didn't have the stock head unit, so the process might be slightly different for you guys if you have the OEM head unit, but it's not that hard to figure out. It's literally basically the same exact thing as if it were OEM. Check this out if you guys are looking for a stereo, because I haven't really tested it out yet, but I'm super excited and it works so well. So I will keep you guys updated, and I will also post a tutorial on basically the features and everything else about it. So subscribe and check out the next video. We'll see you guys soon.